You ever wake up on a plain old Tuesday thinking it's going to be coffee, errands, maybe a few bills, and then by sundown, your wife's become the main character in your entire town's group chat because some HOA queen decided to try out her homemade version of Law and Order? Yeah, that Tuesday started with me sitting in my pickup, window down, half listening to the weather report and half watching my wife, Nora, stride across the grocery store parking lot. Sidearm on her hip, legally carried, standard for her, not a big deal in our open carry county. See, Nora doesn't make noise about who she is. To most folks, she's that polite neighbor with good yard work and a sweet laugh. What they don't see is the badge in her wallet or that she writes half the tactical training manuals for every SWAT unit in 3 counties. She's quiet about it. She's disciplined. She hates drama, at least she used to. And then there's Carol. Now, if your town has a Carol, you already know. If you don't, God bless you. Ours is the self-appointed president of the Homeowners Association's Safety Council, which, for the record, doesn't exist. She's the kind of woman who once chased off a pizza guy because his tattoos didn't meet neighborhood standards. So when Carol saw Nora's pistol that morning, her brain short-circuited on the spot. 1 minute, Nora's pushing a cart. The next, Carol's sprinting at her with a pink glitter purse swinging like a medieval flail, shouting about making a citizen's arrest. I dropped my phone. I swear the birds went quiet to watch. Carol whips out a pair of fuzzy pink handcuffs, like the gag kind you buy at a bachelorette party, and tries to cuff a SWAT trainer. Nora didn't even flinch. She caught Carol's wrist mid-swing, leaned in, and said real soft, "You do not want this fight." She didn't twist it hard, just enough to say, "Lady, I could drop you, but I'm polite." Of course, Carol screamed assault. Within 2 minutes, the store manager was out, 3 teenagers were filming, and the local patrol car rolled up, lights on but sirens off because, well, they knew exactly whose name they'd see. One of the officers, young kid named Drew. He looked at Nora, nodded like he was greeting a general, then turned to Carol like she was a wet cat. He asked Nora if she was okay. She just handed him a slim black card. He read it. His face dropped. He walked back to Carol and, trying so hard not to laugh, said, "Ma'am, she trains our SWAT team." You could feel the atmosphere flip. Carol's voice hit a pitch that rattled passing carts. She yelled about conspiracies, that Nora was an undercover militia, that we'd corrupted the department. Drew calmly suggested she read the open carry law, or perhaps, just go home. Carol stormed off, but as Nora turned back to the truck, she gave me this look, half a grin, half a sigh, like she knew the real fight hadn't even started. By dusk, Carol had posted on the neighborhood message board. She called Nora a rogue vigilante and claimed the HOA was at risk of becoming a crime zone if we didn't ban all firearms. By morning, laminated flyers were taped to every mailbox, tree, and even the dog poop bag station at the park. Each flyer had a blurry phone shot of Nora's holster circled in red like she was a criminal. It even quoted her out of context. "I write the rules." Which, yeah, she writes training protocols, not secret edicts for a suburban dictatorship. I asked Nora if she wanted to sue. She just sipped her tea and said, she wants a war. I want a lesson plan. And that was the moment I knew. Carol had no clue she'd picked a fight with the calmest hurricane in the state. By the end of the week, Carol's personal campaign had become a one-woman parade of delusion. She dressed up like an officer, neon vest from Amazon, a badge sticker, walkie-talkie stuck to her collar, and started patrolling the street. One afternoon, she set up orange cones at the entrance to our cul-de-sac and stopped cars to inspect glove boxes for contraband. Our neighbors mostly humored her. They'd roll their windows down, nod politely, then roll their eyes when she lectured them about being loyal citizens. But the real showstopper was when she tried to stop a teenage driver who happened to be the sheriff's son. He texted his mom, our sheriff, who also happens to be Nora's old trainee. Within 20 minutes, Carol had a polite warning taped to her door. Stop impersonating a cop or enjoy court dates. Did that stop her? Nah. Carol pivoted to hosting driveway rallies. She propped up a karaoke speaker and ran it about taking back our streets from rogue commandos. Nora and I would sit on the porch across the street, drink lemonade, and watch the chaos like it was free cable. One day, a neighbor named Mel, sweet retired guy, leaned over the fence and asked me, "So, you think she's gonna calm down anytime soon?" I just shrugged. Nora spoke without looking up from her laptop. "Nope, but she'll bury herself faster this way." Then Nora did something that still makes me grin. She rented the community center under the name Neighborhood Safety Awareness Workshop. Open invite. No fee. Free snacks. She posted an official-looking notice. Come learn your rights, your local laws, and how to stay safe without overstepping legal lines. No mention of Carol, but everybody knew. Of course, Carol called it a covert gun cult meeting and told folks to boycott it. So naturally, more people showed up, curious to see what the fuss was about. The sheriff came. 2 local reporters came. Even the HOA president, who'd spent the last month ignoring Carol's emails, sat in the back row, arms crossed. Nora stood up front, wore jeans and a polo, no badge, no gun. Just her calm voice, a slide deck, and a folder of real laws. She walked everyone through what open carry means, what it doesn't, how a citizen's arrest actually works. And, this got a laugh, why fuzzy handcuffs aren't standard issue. Halfway through, she paused, looked around, and said, community safety isn't about power plays. It's about knowing what you can do, what you shouldn't, and when to call someone trained to handle the scary stuff. She didn't call Carol out by name, but every glance told the story. By the end, people lined up to shake her hand. I saw more than one neighbor throw Carol's flyers straight in the trash on their way out. But the cherry on top? Nora arranged a live demonstration with her old SWAT trainees, right on the empty lot next to Carol's house. They practiced drills, shield formations, breach entries, K-9 handling. All legal. All quiet, all professional. From our yard, I watched Carol pace behind her blinds, phone pressed to her face, yelling at who knows who. By day 2, she cracked. She stomped onto her lawn. Bathrobe flapping, screaming about military intimidation. She even tried to spray the officers with her garden hose. One trainee just lifted his riot shield, deflected the sprinkle, and kept moving. The rest barely looked at her, because she wasn't worth the trouble. After that, the HOA board finally stepped in. They called an emergency vote. Nora brought her files, videos, emails, copies of Carol's Citizen Checkpoint signs. She spoke once, calm as ever, then sat back. Carol, red-faced and hoarse from yelling about conspiracies, didn't stand a chance. The board suspended her. They banned her from holding any committee position for 5 years. They even made a new rule: no fake patrols, no rogue checkpoints, no impersonating authority. Neighbors nicknamed it the Carol Clause. You'd think that'd be the end, right? Peace restored. Porch lights warm again. Well, mostly. Carol slinked off for a bit. She stopped her cones, her flyers, her driveway rants. But every so often, we'd catch a glimpse, a car parked too long by our fence, a flashlight sweeping our backyard at 2 in the morning. A typed letter with no return address tucked under our mat. Nora never flinched. She kept training officers, teaching classes, sipping tea on the porch like Carol's paranoia was just weather, unpleasant, but passing. And I guess that's what sticks with me. You don't win against people like Carol by screaming back. You win by standing still, knowing the law better than they do, and letting their own chaos do the work for you. Nora taught me that. She teaches it to everyone who comes to her workshops now. So if you ever find yourself next door to your own version of Carol, remember, don't get mad. Get patient. And maybe get a better fence camera, just in case. Now I want to hear from you. Would you have handled a Carol like Nora did? Or would you have lost it halfway through the driveway checkpoint nonsense? Drop your take in the comments. Smash that subscribe button for more real-life neighbor chaos. And hey, stay safe out there, especially if you see pink fuzzy handcuffs coming your way.